So I got this cough today, and Tim just keeps making fun of me. It's like, what, the fifth time we've had to restart.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is John.
And I'm Tim.
This is Breaking the Unknown. And this is our second episode that you're hearing here on YouTube.
Number two.
So this is where we talk about a lot of topics here. But we talk about the good stuff on Patreon. That's where we talk about stuff that's controversial, the stuff that YouTube doesn't allow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's the stuff YouTube doesn't want, so we're putting it on Patreon.
The uncensored.
The uncensored, unfiltered. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. But anyways,
censor the unknown.
So to the less censorable content, we'll get to today's task at hand, which is I want to talk about some conspiracy theories. There's a lot out there. A lot of really cool, really fascinating ones, I must say.
Okay.
But
what do you got in mind for today's topic? Because there's so many. I know you've got at least one or two pinned down.
Well, I got a couple pinned down here. But before I get into that, speaking of conspiracy, have you been keeping up with this Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star thing going on right now?
Just what I've seen in social media. Before last week or two, I've heard of Shane Dawson through YouTube. Mm-hmm. But have you heard of Shane Dawson?
So I'll give you a quick rundown from what I know. Now, I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination, but Shane Dawson is a YouTuber. He's pretty famous. Jeffree Star started a makeup company.
Never heard of Jeffree Star.
Used to do makeup tutorials on YouTube.
Probably why I never heard.
Took like the last bit of savings as a story and started this makeup company with it. Released his own palette and built it up to this. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars now off of makeup. And so him and Shane Dawson did this collaboration, if you will, through Jeffree Star.
So this is where I've seen it in social media.
Yes. And so they had this idea. Shane created his own palette.
Conspiracy palette is what I've seen on Facebook.
Yep.
Big follower on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So this thing sold out. Okay, get this. 1 million sold in less than 30 minutes. And, it's one of them things.
1 million what? Units, right? Like each
1 million pallets.
Like a person walked in and bought a makeup kit.
Yes. Well, I'll put it to you this way. There was 1 million pallets, but it was not just that. There was also 1 million mini pallets. There was 1 million packs of 10 lipstick. There's 1 million mirrors. There's 1 million bags that, accessories.
And the colors from the pictures I saw, they're just not like natural flesh tone colors. They are.
Well, it has some flesh tones.
Stand out.
Yeah, it stands out pretty good, but that's kind of what you expect from Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson type of thing. But the dude became so rich overnight. That fast. Shane Dawson's worth a lot of money.
I've known Shane Dawson's name through YouTube. Mm-hmm. Very big YouTube. I actually don't know what Shane Dawson does on YouTube.
It's
a mix of things?
He used to do these vlogs, like a daily vlog, where he would do stuff like he would eat something with ranch, or try to cook something, just various variety of things he would do. And he had a podcast. Then he moved into these documentary style. He did one with Graveyard Girl, did like this paranormal conspiracy video, or not conspiracy, but paranormal documentary style things. And then now he's doing this. He did a thing with Logan Paul.
Oh, okay.
Like a documentary thing on him. So these documentary things have kind of blew him up to the next level. Then this makeup thing, he's made so much money off it. He will.
Their marketing was great. Whatever they did,
it's fascinating.
Off.
You should really watch Shane Dawson videos. Because Heather's really. I didn't ever watch one for her, but she sits down and watches them. I got into them with her and watched them. I'm kind of excited to see what their end of it looked like when they sold 1 million pallets in 30 minutes.
They're like, cool, day's over.
That's the biggest order they've ever had with that whole company. So it's pretty incredible. But anyways, enough about the Shane Dawson things. I think everybody knows enough about that.
It's a hot topic, but we had to touch base on it.
Let's talk about a couple conspiracies. I'm not going to dive into like the moon landing type things like that. I want to, everybody knows about it, aliens, Area 51, all that stuff. Even though we'll get on this topic later.
I did bring up a good one earlier.
You did bring up a good one earlier, and that was about the Area 51 raid. Why did the media pick that up and run with it?
I mean, it blew it way out of proportion. Our media did that.
What could they have been covering up?
Yeah.
Think about that, guys. Let me comment down below and let me know.
What was going on at the same time?
What do you think happened? What do you think they were trying to cover up? Because that's a big theory out right now.
So something else big had to have been going on at the same time.
Could have, yeah. Because, it's pretty well documented at this point. Our government loves to have the media blow certain things up to kind of camouflage some underhand going-ons over here. So everybody's attention is directed to this side while back behind the scenes, this is going on that normally would be major news.
Now, we'll touch base more on that, though.
But yeah, we'll touch base more on that. So let us know what you think about that. But the first thing I want to talk about as far as conspiracy theories is one that dates back many years, over 100 years ago.
Okay.
It's about the RMS Titanic.
Okay. So I've seen the Titanic movie, so me and DiCaprio were right there. So there was room on the door for him.
Oh, yeah. There was plenty of room on the door, but that's not what we're going into today. So get this. Have you heard any first off, Tim, have you heard of any of these conspiracies on Titanic?
I have heard a couple.
Okay, so this involves another ship. The RMS Olympic.
Okay. I think I've heard this one.
So I'm going to tell the conspiracy. So as the Titanic was being constructed, the Olympic was a sister ship that was before the Titanic. Its captain had an accident. Okay, he wrecked in port, hit another ship, done a lot of damage to that boat. So in the meantime, they had to dry dock the Olympic, and during that time, it was dry docked directly beside the Titanic where it was being built. Insurance said, no, we're not covering this because it's fault of the captain. So insurance wasn't going to pay out. So they're sitting here with this boat, and while they're building another boat, trying to figure out what are we going to do? They were in the red. Things were going bad. So the conspiracy theory goes, what people believe happened was they patched up the Olympic, painted the name Titanic on it, sunk it for an insurance claim. Because if it's an accident out on open seas with a iceberg, then the insurance is going to cover it. So it's a lot of people theorize that the sinking of the Titanic was one of the biggest insurance frauds of all time.
Yeah.
Because I'll go over some pointers I read. There's many more out there if y'all want to research this and dive deep into it. But the first thing I want to mention that throws a red flag is, why was the ship, the Carpathia, sitting empty 12 miles away? That's one of the biggest factors in this. Why was that ship just kind of hanging out 12 miles away? It was able to come so quick. A lot of people believe they didn't expect the ship to sink as fast as it did with the Titanic.
No, see, I'd never heard anything about the other ship. I knew that it was out there, and I know about it coming and helping.
Yes, it was
as far as it just being out there waiting and everything like that.
I mean, we don't know if it's waiting, but it was in the area.
Yeah.
Unloaded, empty, ready to receive a large amount of people. Make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. I never heard that one, though.
Yeah. Also, a lot of people believe the Titanic sank faster than they expected. And then people go, well, if they knew they were going to sink it, why wouldn't they put more lifeboats on? Well, that would have been a huge red flag. It wasn't standard to add a bunch of lifeboats. If they had added enough lifeboats to cover everybody, with the design of the ship, it would have been obvious, and it would have raised red flags. Then people would have maybe caught on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People would have been able to put to, well, that's why they put all those extra lifeboats all of a sudden for no reason on this ship.
Feel like you said we were done, now we're adding new stuff on.
Yeah.
Now, the one that I've heard of is about the about the windows.
Yes, the port. That's one I was going to get to. So
I couldn't let you take them all from me. That's my only other good thing.
yeah. So where it fascinates me is the Titanic had X amount of portholes, and the window designs were different. So what sucks
Just
now?
slightly, because that was pretty much the only difference.
Yes. And like the only thing we really had to go by now is like the images we see of the Titanic.
Yeah.
And I read, and I haven't confirmed this. This is kind of floating out there. I will confirm it eventually. That the portholes on what is the Titanic sunk by motion now matches what the Olympics design was supposed to be.
No, that's what I heard.
That's like the biggest piece of tangible evidence.
Yeah.
The Olympic was destroyed in the war, so we don't have it anymore to go by. We just have whatever videos and footage there is. And there's compelling footage that shows both ways on that. So, but yeah, the Titanic. I mean, what's your thoughts?
We pretty much took them all. I mean, there was a conspiracy of 2 ships and the insurance, and so yeah, you pretty much covered all of my go-to. Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, that's just.
I really do. I think they expected it to sink a lot slower, so they had time to get there to help the people.
Do you buy into that conspiracy though? Do you think what's at the bottom of the ocean is really a Titanic and they did no wrong, or do you think it's physical?
I 100% think it was an insurance cover-up.
Yeah.
And it backfired on them and took a lot of lives.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what really sunk them.
Yeah. And like a lot of people talk about like 9/11 being staged, which we're not going to go there today, but it's a similar type of thing. They were trying to prove one agenda and then have more go wrong. But have you heard about the one of Paul McCartney?
I would have to say that's a hard no.
Okay, so
Paul McCartney.
This is a good one about Paul McCartney.
I don't know nothing.
It is theorized by a lot of people that he actually, the real Paul McCartney of the Beatles, died in 1966, and he was replaced with another lookalike.
Okay.
Now there's a documentation of this lookalike out there that existed, and you can read everybody. Like I said, you research this yourself, but I've looked at these videos and these pictures of how different Paul McCartney was from like one tour to the next. Like it looked like him, but you could tell it wasn't him.
Movements, personality
and
traits.
Just like eye spacing, like there's certain like scientific, they take photos and lay them side by side and actually show the difference in like the eye shaping and
measurements
and stuff like that, where it's just a huge difference.
Okay.
Even his voice was different.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I've not.
It's a good one to dive into, and it's there's a lot of people out there that really believe that the real Paul McCartney died a long time ago, and the guy we know now as Paul McCartney was in fact someone else.
Now I've heard about them doing that with like politicians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because almost every major like president or
most of the time in other countries too, where the politician had died and they just kept this stand-in and never really told anybody.
Yeah, and that's a fascinating one because it's not talked about a whole lot.
There's an invasion of the body snatchers right there.
Yeah,
they're just replacing people.
And that's even Avril Lavigne. Have you heard of that one?
Yes.
Yes, like she had a friend that looked just like her.
Yep. And they think something happened to her and that the friend stepped in.
Yep, because they think she committed suicide. There's a theory that she committed suicide after, as her dad passed away. And, she got real depressed. And even like now, you listen to her music.
And the way it changes at that almost precise moment, yeah.
It's completely different. There's a lot of it there. So, I mean, that's a good one to dive into if you're bored one day, is celebrities that have been replaced.
Yeah.
Like they believe have been replaced. And there's actually a lot. I mean, there's
way more than you would expect, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
I know of, 2 or 3. Avril Lavigne, who was it? I've heard of others.
Yeah.
We've talked about it in passing. I'm going to look them up now.
Oh, yeah.
Now you've got me intrigued. I got to see who they are.
That's the fun thing about this. It's like, you get all these nuggets, and then, I think it's possible. The Paul McCartney thing, there's pictures of me where my facial structure doesn't look, you ever see, you like get a picture of yourself.
Look at an old picture, yeah.
And I don't even look like me.
Yep.
I think our facial structures develop over time. We gain weight, we lose weight. A lot of your facial structure is fat, like fatty tissues. So, you do look a lot different over time.
Yeah, I've got pictures where I was a lot heavier set, and it definitely looks a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah, your eyes look bigger, smaller, and there's just so much different. It just depends on your weight and how you're eating. Really plays a big role in how your skin and everything else is. But that's pretty much all I had for today. I just want to touch up on a few. You got any cool conspiracies to talk about, Tim?
Let's see. Cool conspiracies. Like I said, I was really thinking. I've been putting thought into the whole Area 51 raid and what that's been covering up. What attention did that draw away from at that time?
Yeah.
Why did they run with that so hard in the media? It's
fascinating, man. Very fascinating.
Because I know that is a tactic that the government uses with the media is always, run with something small, stupid, or something that the people want. It's like, yes, we're going to go ahead and give you this. We're going to make a big deal about it in the media because back over here we're doing something else we don't want you to look at.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, that makes me think of crisis actors. Have you ever heard about them?
Crisis actors.
Crisis actors.
Now, I know about the, what is it? The protest actors. Mm-hmm. And I know about those.
So what a crisis actor is someone the media uses for crisis interviews. So, for example, I'll use a couple here. Sandy Hook. Remember that school shooting? And then you remember the gay bar in Florida that got shot up.
Yes.
And everybody killed. So they interview this woman in both scenarios. And she's the exact same woman. They redo her hair, but you can tell it's the same one. And then they pull out two more circumstances across the United States that the same woman is being interviewed.
Now, I've heard about that for the Sandy Hook. I didn't know about the one in Florida, but I've heard about the Sandy Hook woman being with another school shooting.
Yeah, there's another school shooting. There's the shooting in Florida that Florida I was saying about, and there was another type of shooting. So this, crisis actors are real. They're a very real thing. We know that.
Yes.
The media has people that they use during crisis to interview, so they can make it
victims
they put on a fake story that they were a victim. They knew someone there and they're sad or whatever. So it works two ways. So people start thinking, are these school shootings fake, or is this just the media using actors to be able to not have to harass the people involved? Does that make sense?
Because that goes two ways in itself. Because they don't want to harass the people involved, so they have a stand-in acting representative for the victims. But now they get to control what's being said, so that it drums up views for their channels, and they can control the information being thrown out there.
Exactly. See, that was my point I was going to make is I think it's more of they wanted the more intimate and sensitive, they wanted to interview someone who knew someone that got shot, or their kid was one of them that got shot, whatever. So they have this crisis actor act like, oh, my niece was murdered, as whatever she says, So it gives them the better interview, which is going to get the better views on TV.
Yeah.
I think that's more what it is. And so they can make up whatever story they want. Because, the general population ain't going to know.
No.
Maybe the local people around there will know, but
I mean, word of mouth goes for only so far.
That's true. I mean, media can control what gets in and out.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
100%, I think the media is being used as a hardcore propaganda just to control and change the view of the public.
Yep. See, everybody has this perception, and I think a lot of what it's just like, you know, you look at media and what's, you know, they come out in the news and say, oh, well, you're supposed to eat this or this, and this causes cancer, this doesn't cause cancer. To me, that's all, well, this company has more money to give to big media.
Yeah.
And they're going to come out on their news outlets and say, hey, this is causing cancer, but this is what experts say is good for you.
Yep.
So every person sitting on their couch, stuffing their face with potato chips goes, oh, well, I'll do that from now on.
Yep.
And then that person becomes a multi-billionaire because they were able to put more influence or pay into big media.
Oh, 100%. And that goes through so many different...
That's a rabbit hole you can spend months in.
Oh.
You could spend forever in that rabbit hole.
How many different places that theory can reach into.
Yeah, for real.
That is a whole nother rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah, man. That's something we might need to do.
That could be a whole episode in itself.
That should be a Tier 3 episode.
Tier 3.
Yeah, that'll be something. Because that gets to where you're really... You start talking politically, everything.
Oh, yeah.
It gets deep.
Oh, by the way, if you haven't checked it out by now, and if you haven't heard by now, go over to Patreon and check out Tier 3.
Yes, that's the podcast where we talk about things YouTube won't let us.
That's right. That is the uncensored us.
Yeah, we talk politics, we talk religion, we talk it all. There's no filter. We might even sway a swear or two. Sway a swear.
We're going to sway a swear or two.
Sway a swear. We might even say some swears, and you know what?
We'll get the swear jar up here and see if we can't...
But we're going to keep everything neutral on our end. It's just we're going to discuss matters. So that's going to be the biggest thing.
We're just talking about it. There's no right or wrong.
Yep.
Unless it's wrong.
Yeah. But guys, this has been fun. I enjoy talking conspiracies. I can go all day long. Let us know what you think about this. Let us know what your favorite conspiracy is. Maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah, let us know. Drop a comment below. We love the interaction.
Oh, yeah. We definitely love it. And we hope to see you all in the next episode. But for now, this is it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm done too.
Zippity-doo-dah.
Bye-bye.